welcome back to the Revive Then Thrive podcast, your safe haven for emotional and relational wellness and intergenerational healing. I'm so excited you're joining me. I'm Hallelujah Adams, a certified emotionally focused therapist for individuals, couples, and families. I have a remote private practice, also called Revive Then Thrive, so all telehealth, and I am licensed in California and Wisconsin. It is my hope that this podcast hugs your heart and provides continual reminders that hope and healing with ourselves and others is possible. I'm so glad you're here. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had the same argument with someone over and over again, even though the topic changes? Maybe it starts with dishes or a late text or how someone said something. But somehow it always ends in the same way: disconnection, distance, or pain. If that sounds familiar, today's episode is for you. We're talking about negative interactional patterns, also known as a dance of distress or a cycle. Those reoccurring emotional loops that keep us stuck in conflict and disconnection with the people we love most. The good news, these patterns are not permanent. And they don't mean your relationship is broken. They're signals, clues pointing us to deeper needs and emotions. And EFT gives us the tools to understand, heal, and transform them. Let's start by rethinking conflict. In EFT, we don't see conflict as a problem in itself. Instead, we view it as a signal, telling us that something deeper is going on emotionally. As we discussed last episode on the Revive Then Thrive podcast, we are wired for connection. Emotionally, neurobiologically. Remember, it's like oxygen, food, and water for us. So when something threatens that connection, when we feel ignored, criticized, shut out, or rejected, our attachment system kicks in. We go into survival mode, and that's when the cycle starts. The fight isn't really about the socks on the floor or the tone in that text. It's about, do you see me? Do I matter to you? Are you there for me when I need you? In EFT, we call these repeated conflicts negative interactional patterns or cycles, also known as a dance of distress. And while they look a little different in every relationship, there are some common ones we see over and over. The pursue-withdraw cycle. This is probably the most common. One partner pursues, raising their voice, criticizing, pleading, demanding connection. The other withdraws, shutting down, getting quiet, leaving the room, or turning inward. What's really happening? The pursuer is often driven by fear. I'm losing you. I feel abandoned, and I don't know how to reach you. The withdrawer is often overwhelmed by shame or fear of failure. Nothing I do is good enough. I'm going to shut down before I make it worse. Both partners are hurting, but neither feels seen. The criticize defense cycle. Here, one partner expresses frustration or hurt through blame or attack. The other responds by defending themselves, explaining or minimizing, and over time, this erodes trust. One feels like their needs are never heard, and the other feels like they're always failing. There's also the freeze-freeze cycle. This is when both people shut down emotionally. They stop talking, stop trying, and live in a state of emotional disengagement. It might feel calm on the outside or on the surface, but inside or underneath, there's distance, sadness, and disconnection. The relationship becomes more like roommates than partners. Here's where EFT goes deeper. What we see on the surface, anger, blame, silence, defensiveness, is only part of the story. Underneath those reactions are primary emotions, things like fear, sadness, shame, longing, or loneliness. Let me give you an example. If someone lashes out in frustration, they might actually be feeling, I miss you. I'm scared I don't matter to you. I don't know how to ask for you without pushing you away. If someone shuts down in silence, they might be thinking, if I say the wrong thing, it'll just blow up again. I don't feel safe enough to speak. EFT teaches us how to slow down and look beneath the reaction to the tender emotions underneath. Because once we can name and share those deeper feelings, we can begin to reconnect. Here's one of my favorite EFT phrases. The problem is not the partner, it's the pattern. When we start to learn to see the pattern as the shared enemy, something powerful happens. We stop blaming each other and start standing together side by side against that cycle that keeps pulling us apart. We can begin to say things like, wait, we're doing it again. This isn't really about the trash. It's about feeling like we're not on the same team. Or, I think our cycle just kicked in. Can we pause? Naming the pattern together is the first step toward changing it. So how can we apply this to our lives? If this episode resonated with you, here are some things to try this week. Identify your cycle. Think about your most common arguments or disconnects. Who does what? What triggers it? What's the usual ending? Slow it down. When you notice the cycle starting, take a breath. You might say, I think we're stuck again. Can we try to pause and talk about what's really going on? We can also practice sharing softer emotions. When you feel safe enough, try expressing what's underneath your reaction. Instead of, you never listen to me, try, I feel alone when I don't feel heard. And we can start to name the pattern together. Give it a name if that helps. The shutdown loop or the fire and ice cycle. Make it something you can both recognize and work through together. Let's wrap up. Every relationship has its patterns. What matters most is not avoiding conflict, but understanding what's really going on underneath and learning how to move through it together. Negative cycles don't mean your relationship is broken. They mean you care. They mean you're reaching for something deeper and just don't know yet how to get there. But you can. You're not alone, and this work is worth it. If this episode helped you see your relationship a little more clearly, I'd love for you to share it with someone who might benefit too. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next episode of Revive Then Thrive podcast. Please do so. We'll be exploring more about secure connection, emotional safety, and healing through the lens of emotionally focused therapy. Until next time, I'm hugging your heart. Continue to be kind to yourself. Be patient with your process. You're doing important, brave work toward relational growth and intergenerational healing. And that matters.